I'm Dr. Barry, licensed psychologist, and here we talk about true crime and psychology. Thank you so much for joining. Let's hop right into today's topic. Let's go. Today, I wanted to hop right into talking about the Donna Adelson trial. We have seen a lot in this past week. I can't believe it's only day 6 of trial, just finished on Friday. I am recording this on Saturday, August 30th, and the state has just rested. The state laid out a phenomenal presentation, in my opinion, to the jury. And remember, I'm a psychologist, I am not a lawyer. And so, for any legal analysis, please check out Emily D. Baker. Also, Lawyer Lee is covering this, and I've seen some videos from some other people on LawTube. And with this case, family dynamics are at the center of this. This enmeshed family that appears to have no boundaries, and everybody seems so intent on solving what they believe is Wendy's problem. I do think it'll be interesting if there are ever any charges for Wendy, because Donna even says on in one of her, I think in her message to Wendy, that they insulated her, like they tried to protect her in the midst of all of this, which if I was on the jury, there would be some major red flags. At first, it might have been a little confusing with, because you're hearing a lot about Wendy, you're hearing a lot about Charlie, you're hearing about the people that did the crime and all of this. And then right around those phone calls, that bump, it becomes incredibly clear that Donna's aware of what's going on. So in this whole situation, there is what the FBI and everybody has called the bump. And I thought there was just one bump, but there were 4 times they intentionally reached out to Donna or Charlie, someone involved, to get them talking and to see how the train cars would move. And that's how they've described this, that Donna would talk to Charlie, Charlie would talk to Katie McBanoa, Katie would talk to Sigfredo, and then the cars would, then Katie would talk to Charlie, Charlie would talk to Donna, and that they would just keep going this way. Some people tried to use code, and when Donna was first approached, I thought it was very telling. If I was on the jury hearing all of this testimony, when the call of the first time Donna is talking with Charlie, and I'm gonna play a little bit of it, because she's trying to like get him off the phone and say, let's talk in person. And Charlie's like, is it the FBI? Is it somebody suing us? Like, Charlie is throwing out all these things, not thinking that it's related to the death of his, well, murder of his brother-in-law. And let me just say, the judge in this case is doing a phenomenal job. To me, the defense is going kind of slowly and things have been kind of clunky. They're doing, I think, what their client wants them to do, but it's just, I've loved Judge Everett throughout this process. I'm also loving the prosecution. The prosecution is doing a phenomenal job, because they played some calls that were before the bump came, because I think they just wanted to hear what kinds of things are they talking about. And they're talking about Donna's date, they're talking about Wendy's dating life. And I always get Wendy and Donna, like, everybody's so enmeshed. Like, sometimes I'm not great with names anyway, but especially with this case. Ugh. But with this, they are talking about all these things, and then they're going to play what the conversation's like after the bump, after Donna is approached by the FBI agent that gave her an article about Dan Markel's murder, and specifically ask her for $5,000. And the way that she says it to Charlie, to me, it like, but and then Charlie just isn't getting it and is not good at crimes and don't do crimes. This poor agent was on the stand for so long. And he's probably used to it, but it was days. He was but he did a phenomenal job. Sometimes you can tell what he's thinking based on what his face does, but I enjoyed his testimony. That was fun. His last one.
Tonight after work or some other in the very near future, I'm going to need to speak with you.
Okay.
Okay?
Did someone write a letter to you or something?
I've got some paperwork,
Paperwork.
hand delivered.
Hand delivered.
You're being sued?
No, that's what I thought it was, but I'm going to talk to you.
I need to talk to you.
Okay, so, I'm gonna maybe, I'll have to figure out something. You can tell us that we were.
So I'm going to skip ahead because they're being really vague and they're going to hang up. And then then Charlie is going to call her right back at some point. So I'm going to find that part. Oh, yeah. And he asked about the IRS. Let me see if he's already hung up. Let's play from here.
What's, IRS?
You know, the IRS people are kind of foggy sometimes, but, you know, fortunately not now.
Fortunately.
So I will talk to you. I'll give you a heads up if I'm going to drive up that way. Okay? And,
Is Wendy down there? Is it involved Wendy?
No. So let me.
And Charlie specifically asked, does this involve Wendy? And she is very clear that no, it doesn't.
Just talk to you later. And
What is it? Is that health okay?
And Charlie just is not letting it go. And it makes sense that they had June, his girlfriend at the time of all of this, that they had her testify about how anxious he was during this time, that he was just really wired up during like this makes sense, hearing these calls, hearing just kind of he won't let it go, like something's going on. She won't. And also, this isn't like his mother normally tells him what's going on. So somebody asked a great question about emotional boundaries, and they specifically asked about like emotional, especially like a parent and child being a little too close. Sometimes people use certain language that is not YouTube friendly. And for me, there definitely were not boundaries in this family. And I think Charlie was seen as the enforcer almost. Like he was the one that could get things done. Or like if Donna had a problem, Wendy's not doing it, Harvey, that she could enlist Charlie to do the things she wanted him to do. And he almost saw them as like his things too. And so that's where the lack of boundaries is, that people don't have individual wants and needs. Now Charlie, of course, because he had his extracurricular activities, but but his mother could, like, he would drop everything to do things for his mom, and not in like a healthy way. So like if my mom called me and was like, "Hey, she has AAA, so there's not much that she would call me and be like, "I need you here immediately." But if something happened and she did, it wouldn't be like this. It's just they could have just it's not good. And I'm just wondering how it's looking with the jury. I'm going to skip ahead. And then the state is going to ask about Donna's demeanor during this phone call.
Would you describe the defendant's demeanor on this call as really calm?
Yes.
She says Dad's at work, fortunately.
She does.
And so I think they were keeping Harvey and Donna. They're making sure that they didn't know anything about this. We're going to skip ahead to when Charlie calls back.
No kidding. No, listen, what was I going to say? Do you mind paying my Brown insurance?
No.
Yeah, so he starts talking about his insurance. I'm going to skip past this part to the actual, there we go.
I mean, so if someone's going to write whatever they want to write, someone can say whatever they want to say, and I'm not worried. So, was it another bad review on Yelp?
There's sometimes they're not bad reviews. This is a particularly bad one. So,
So I'm not being sued.
no.
Okay. All right, honestly, it's whatever it is, and I wouldn't, just judging from what you're making it sound like, I wouldn't stress it out too much.
Okay, that's probably not.
And once again, I think Charlie is focused on calming her and making sure she's okay, even though she doesn't sound upset. She's just like, hey, I want to talk to you. But she's trying to keep her cool. She's trying, and Charlie is not reading between the lines, which, it's just this whole case. They talked so much, and we are going to get into the jailhouse informants. I definitely want to talk about and play a little bit of that and have some discussions around that testimony.
Oh, yeah, listen, people can always write, people can always say.
I'm going to fast forward a little bit because then Donna's going to ask him to bring some cash. And I think he's just confused. And he's like, is someone blackmailing you? And Donna's, that's always a possibility. And then he just keeps talking government or military. No, nothing like that. And then Donna's like, I have a pretty good idea, but we'll talk we'll talk later. Donna's trying to, and then they just keep going back and forth. Charlie asked her to send a picture of it. I don't really want to do that. Donna, so why don't you want to send a picture? He's asking how long was the letter. Like, Charlie is not letting it go. And then Charlie's like, we can go to the police. And Donna says, oh, no, I know. That's what I'm tempted to do. We'll talk tomorrow. All right, so let's play this part.
But one thing I was going to tell you, obviously, don't talk about things in the apartment or any place.
Charlie, you are not the one to be giving advice right now, but okay, go on ahead.
Oh, obviously.
The other thing is, was the person black, white, and
What?
and they just came up to you and they said your name and they handed you a piece of paper?
No.
I'm gonna fast forward to this part.
Weird.
No, common could be totally common.
That's really crazy. Are they trying to ask for money or something?
Yeah.
If someone trying to, listen, if it's something like that, I'll probably like
Go to the police.
But
And they have to, but they'd rather talk to you first and then.
yeah, I mean,
I'd rather talk to you first, and then I'm gonna fast forward some more. And then she was trying to talk in code, and Charlie is not great with code.
clear what's wrong with it. What is it? Kind of exactly what do they ask for?
I don't know, this TV is probably.
And the fact that they brought up the TV.
TV is probably about $5.
They asked you for $5,000.
So this is not funny. So sometimes dark sense of humor, like these are difficult cases to cover. These are difficult situations. I really hope that they continue to get justice for Dan. There have already been 4 people, maybe 4? Yeah. So we have Luis Rivera, Sigfredo Garcia, Katie McBanawa, and Charlie Adelson. They have all 4 been convicted related to this crime. Donna Adelson is on trial right now. And they are just giving the police just mountain. And so it's like, wait a minute, because she's given code TV, and then so this is going to connect things. And if I was on the jury, we know that the TV was Wendy's alibi. Donna and Harvey, or somebody, like one of them, made the appointment for Best Buy, repairing the TV that gave Wendy this alibi. Like, things are going to start falling into place. And they could have just stayed out of it. They did not. And I really like sharing tips, tools, and resources for people that are in dysfunctional, difficult relationships or families. During one of my last videos covering this case, I shared a lot of tools, a lot of resources about enmeshed families. And also Dr. Ramani is really good about talking about antagonistic relationships, because sometimes the word narcissism starts getting thrown around, and there are some things where it's like, okay, there seems to be some entitlement. There seems to be these things. We can definitely all admit that this is antagonistic. Like, Donna wants her way by any and all means. That's what a lot of the evidence has pointed to. I am a psychologist. I'm not her psychologist. I don't know her at all. And so I'm just talking in general based on the publicly available information. There seems to be this antagonism. And I do want to talk about the text messages that went back and forth, and especially after Charlie was convicted and Donna was considering her next steps. But first, let's get into the testimony of those jailhouse informants and that letter. We're definitely going to take a look at that. So Donna was incarcerated, and while she was incarcerated, she did the thing that you're not supposed to do, according to these informants. She not only made friends, she not only tried to get her way by saying, like, hey, if you can say some things in my favor, I'll give you so it's my understanding, according to this testimony, Donna offered Patricia land and a trailer and I think veneers, and then some different things to the second person, and then I think canteen as well. So some of the goodies, the things that people can order. Patricia had been incarcerated with Katie McManawa before. And Donna, so according to this testimony, Donna admitted to Patricia that she did what she was incarcerated for, but she didn't want it to go that far. That was my understanding of the testimony. Patricia got a little confused on cross-examination, but sometimes Donna's lawyers can be confusing and they ask questions in weird ways and it can kind of be hard to follow. And then also, Patricia probably met with a bunch of people. We're talking about something that happened years ago, and they're asking things that she might not remember all of the details exactly. But they were able to refresh her recollection. Because if y'all remember Wendy on the stand, Wendy didn't remember anything. And she needed her memory refreshed. And Wendy has testified multiple trials, similar details. And Wendy's still like, did I like, and so the defense went a little hard, I think, but try to attack the credibility of these informants. While I'm sure they're hoping that the state will look favorably, based on their participation, if they do have with any pending trials or sentences that they have, they've been promised nothing. And so they are just testifying. And I was watching this over on Emily D. Baker's channel, and she mentioned the fact that things that affect children, people get really touchy, iffy. So this is a grandmother. So Donna Adelson is a grandmother charged with conspiracy to commit murder of her grandchildren's father. And so, like, sometimes people can get a little upset about that, especially like she doesn't seem to care. Like, she just seems to be so focused on what she wants and what she needs, and focused on her not going to prison, which, but you shouldn't do more crimes on the way of like being charged with a crime. Like, I'm not a lawyer, I just say don't do crimes. All right. So we're not going to watch this one because I do want to watch the second informant. And she's been incarcerated for multiple things. I think she said like 27 charges, many of them drug related. She was hoping to get substance treatment as part of this. So let's get into her testimony. Ooh, I'm going to go back because we're going to talk about Sunshine. Let's listen to this part.
Things like your life.
Yes.
Okay. And did she have a nickname for you besides her jail daughter?
Yes, Sunshine.
And that's just odd because that's the nickname that Donna has for her grandchildren. I wonder if she called Wendy her sunshine too. I could imagine. I don't like, but individuals with personality characteristics like Donna, based on my experience, sometimes what will happen is they'll try to love bomb someone. They will try to be overly nice, overly kind, saying all these positive things about them, trying to get them on their side, to then attempt to manipulate them and to get them on, to do the things that they want them to do. In this situation, Donna very much probably thought that she was the one manipulating this individual, but I think she was just Donna's doing all these things and she's taking this information back to the state. Because it's my understanding that Donna gives her a notebook with where Donna hand wrote what she wanted this witness to say. This witness had also been incarcerated with Katie McBanawa, and Donna wanted for this individual to say that Katie had told her some things. And the language, and we're going to get there in a minute with the letter, the language that was used was not anything Katie would say. And now I understand why we listen to so many, like the calls between Charlie and Katie and Sigfredo, because Katie didn't hold back when she was upset. Like Katie was a little feisty. And what Donna wrote, it did not sound like something Katie would say to me personally, or to probably anybody that has eyes or ears and isn't, Donna or Charlie. So that brings me to a great question that somebody asked about, is this a shared delusion? Because some people are thinking, like, is Donna just this delusional that she's believing all these things? And the difference between a delusion and a lie is normally lies are self-serving. Delusions, it would normally, it has a different feel. This doesn't feel psychotic to me at all. Lori Vallow, somebody asked me to do that as well, and that's going to be a whole other video. Somebody asked me to do a video comparing Lori Vallow, Donna Adelson. I want to see what happens with this verdict before I put out a video like that. But Lori Vallow did seem to have some of her beliefs seem to extend to the world and seem to get real interesting. This all seems to be about the crime. All these lies, all of these inconvenient facts, lies, I don't like all of this. It seems to be surrounding the crime to me. So that's where I don't get the feeling that it's a delusion or some shared delusion, because it only starts once they are almost getting caught, because they were fine. Like they weren't saying any of those things. Charlie didn't think he was being extorted. Like he went on. It was once Sigfredo Garcia, Luis Rivera, and Katie, once they get arrested, that's when, and once the bumps happen, once all those things start happening, that's when all of a sudden they're trying to concoct stories, in my personal opinion, to try to get away with what happened. And it's a lot. All right, let's listen to this.
Did she paint pictures for you and write notes to you and things like that?
Yes, ma'am.
And approach and show you what I've marked as State's Exhibit 61. This is one of the pieces of art and letters that she wrote to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge asked to move in evidence, State 61.
No objection.
And that sometimes that happens in jail. People write letters back and forth. If Donna's doing it, I wonder what's behind it. Just because it just seems like she's a calculating person. And I think that's why she wrote everything down on her planner. And it kept reminding me of her saying during, I think it was Wheel of Fortune, calling herself the domestic coordinator. But maybe being the domestic coordinator got her in trouble. And that, she should coordinate less and just let people live their lives. But that didn't happen. And just let things happen. Let's see what happens. But she's trying to, according to these witnesses, is trying to fabricate evidence that is not true, that would be favorable for her.
There you are. State 61 is the note.
Permission to publish.
You may.
All right. And so I want to get to the letter. Oh. Before we get to the letter, let's hear this part where Donna's talking about her grandchildren.
Did she ever talk to you about her grandchildren?
Yes, she did.
And did she tell you anything about the type of relationship that she had specifically with the children of the deceased in this case?
Yes, she said she was very close with them, and every now and then she would call them her children.
That is something that happens very commonly within enmeshed families. And it's often very hard for the mothers of those children to set boundaries. And often living in the same home with a grandparent or living close to a grandparent that is doing those types of things, because they will sometimes, mom said no, and grandma is still like, because grandma almost thinks of them as her children. And that can cause problems that can actually increase issues for the children because it makes things confusing. And kids need clear boundaries. And Donna, just in my opinion, just my thoughts based on what I'm hearing, she does not seem to have many boundaries when it comes to family. Now, with the office, it sounds like she kept this stuff out of the office. And so that's where it's like, it just seems like this within the home, within Wendy's life, Rob's life, Charlie's life, probably Harvey too, just like within her family, she's trying to uphold a certain image. She wants certain things to be true, and she wants certain things from everybody else. And if those things don't happen, hell to pay almost. Like it gets bad if people aren't doing what she wants them to do.
Okay. And I want to ask you about whether Mrs. Adelson, during the time that y'all were friendly, ever discussed her case with you.
Yes.
Okay. And was her bringing up her case something that she did a lot, or was it only one time?
It was often.
Okay. So it was something.
And we can kind of imagine that Donna would be pretty chatty talking about things like that. That tracks for me. It just does.
Then that she was
Doing
talking
a lot.
about daily.
Yes.
Okay. And was it,
Because it was probably like, this isn't fair. I'm here for no reason. I don't know. Like, I could imagine her being upset. Like, how could the state do this? I don't know. Like, I could imagine her having some complaints, especially after hearing, the hearings that she had and her complaints and her not wanting to be in jail. And the reason why she's in jail is because of this trial. I could imagine her talking a lot about it.
a bunch of different aspects of her case she would talk about, or only one thing?
It was different aspects.
At some point, did you end up reaching out to law enforcement to report some of the things that she had been saying to you about her case?
Yes, I did.
And why did you do that?
Well, initially I did it for selfish reasons, but more that I spent time with Dawn, I realized that it was morally correct and I wanted to get justice for the Markel family.
Okay.
I thought, and I'm glad that she admitted, like, yeah, at first it was for selfish reasons. I'm trying to get a better sentence or whatever. And then it's like, she's like there are children, there are people. Dan was a son and he has parents. And like, Donna just doesn't seem, she seems very focused on herself and what she's going through and all the things that are, and all that's happening to her and probably Charlie. Not really focused on those other things. My personal thoughts. We'll keep it going.
So you felt it was the right thing to do, but you were also hoping to get something out of it.
Yes.
And what kind of thing were you hoping to get out of it?
Oh, yeah, she wanted like better sentence or something. All right, so let's take a look at the letter. Okay, because there are certain aspects of it that it's just like, Katie is not going to say this. So Donna gives her this question and answer script that this witness was supposed to memorize. It just doesn't seem, and also this script was to try to protect Charlie as well. Seemed like it might have been throwing Wendy under the bus a little, because I thought they were like, this woman said she would pay us. Like, I wonder if they were talking about Wendy. I don't know. Like, I got a little confused with that part. But let's let this part play.
I don't know Charlie. She told him she wouldn't tell her friends who he is. She can keep him safe. So she was, according to this story.
And this goes along, and I think this is why it came up with the jury, Charlie's, that story that Katie was trying to extort him after the fact. And that he had no clue that that's what was, that what happened was what was going to happen. And it's just not true. Thank you to everyone who pointed out listening to Kate Butler, the handwriting analyst. She did a great job. I think her style is just like, and I watched it on 2x speed. So her style was just like, I thought she did a great job. I followed everything. It was tracking. She was pointing out just how Donna's writing and the other writing, just all the similarities between the handwriting and how they were able to determine that, yes, this was Donna's handwriting. Thought it was interesting that the way they were able to compare this handwriting is because Donna's first lawyer, Dan Brashbaum, he's the one that gave the prosecution her calendar for the year of the murder that also included like Dan Markel's license plate number. It also had like Wendy's information. Didn't have the license plate number, I don't believe, but it did have Wendy's information. Like Donna just seemed like she was all up in everybody's stuff all the time. It just was not good. And so they go into the letter a little bit more with this witness. And I'm just going to play a little bit of this.
That's the 73, or were those already admitted?
73 has already been admitted, so I'd just be amending the name of the exhibit. Testimony, did you create a PowerPoint of your summary that will go into evidence with the jury as a demonstrative here in court?
So like this trial has so many PowerPoints. Like this jury, they are going to have the evidence laid out. And it doesn't, because they interpret, they are going to figure out what they feel is important and what isn't. But I like a PowerPoint. I just do personally.
I did, yes.
And does this demonstrative contain?
But it's because I'm a visual learner. I'm not audit. Like I want to see it. And I love that they're given so many aids to the jury. I personally do.
Other evidence that maybe the jury's already seen in this case, such as State's Exhibit 62?
I believe it does, yes.
All right. Permission to use a demonstrative, Judge?
You may.
All right. Looking at State's Exhibit 62, this first slide, does this appear to be a question and answer session here? There's a part that says Q, followed by a question, and a part that says A, followed by the answer to the question.
That's correct.
And when a witness is on the stand in a trial like you are today, does your testimony have to be in a question and answer format?
It is, yes.
All right. If we could go to the first page of State's Exhibit 62. Looking at this first bit of information here, what does it say that Kay said?
She said she told Charlie on the night of the murder that some friends of hers went to Tallahassee and killed him.
Okay, and does that story?
That's not how Katie talks. That's not how Katie wouldn't have said it that way.
Sound familiar?
And Donna's given fractions. Okay. So Donna's over here a third of a Kate. Okay. So because Katie's the one, I think Sigfredo's the one that brought up her being dyslexic, and I get numbers and things flipped. I was never tested for dyslexia. I have some type of processing problem. I'm an 80s baby, so it didn't get diagnosed earlier on. It's a whole thing. But Katie's not going to say $350,000. She's just not. She's going to say, I didn't know how much, like Katie, as long as there was money in Katie's bank account and Katie could do the things she wanted to do. And I do think Katie knew how much money each person was going to get. I don't know how forthright all of her testimony was. I don't know. Just my personal thoughts. I don't know that for sure. Let's keep it going.
Familiar.
It does, yes.
And are you familiar with Charlie Adelson's testimony in his trial?
And this was very similar to what Charlie said. Now let's get into the messages, because this was wow. Because at the time that Charlie is waiting for the verdict, I believe, Wendy sends Donna prayer hands. And Donna says, we shouldn't have to pray. He's telling the truth. Protected his little sister for years. Differs through this. Maybe I think she means suffer. Suffers, not differs. Suffers through this. And now what? Prayer hands? Donna. Donna. And she goes on. Because it came up in some other testimony. I forget exactly where, but I heard that Donna was made like vague threats to Wendy that Wendy was going to have to bury her in the bar mitzvah outfit that she got for insert child's. Do not put the child's name in the chat for the, Donna says the child's names, his bar mitzvah. And Wendy's like, I'll Baker act you. And Wendy's like, don't make a threat here, because that's where I do wonder if Wendy did get a little bit of therapy during this time, because it does seem like Wendy found a few boundaries after the fact. After the fact, she's like, talk to my lawyer. Because they're over here trying to be like, Donna's like, I need to talk to you about something. I think Donna wanted to talk to her about countries that she could go to that don't have extradition. And Wendy's like, I'm not doing crimes with you. No, I'm not doing that. And those are just my personal thoughts. I don't know that for sure, but we're just looking at what we have here. And I do think there are things that the state knows that they're holding back that might relate to other people involved. And then Donna texts Wendy, there's a verdict. And then after the verdict is read, Wendy texts her mother, I love you very much. Call if you feel like you can. And then your brother protected you for years. Now you are not guilty. Your law lawyer took very good care of you. You can bury me in the dress I bought for a child's name bar mitzvah. And that's just like, and then I think Wendy says that she'll Baker act her. Like, hey, don't make those kinds of threats. And so then Donna says, okay, we have no desire to speak with you about the case. I guess Dad and I are just shocked that you didn't think of coming to see us or even calling us. But no. So, Donna, Wendy said, if you need to talk to me, call me. Why does she have to call you? Like, this is problematic. We are your parents. We are and have always been there for you and for the boys. None of what we wrote matters about the case. That's over. I just wanted you to know how many times Charlie is asking about you. And was Charlie asking about her? I don't know. I could see Donna using language to try to shame Wendy into just doing what Donna wanted her to do. Not only do you not ask about us, but not one question about Charlie. Well, Charlie's going to be in jail. And if I have a question about Charlie, I will ask Charlie. We will need to give you some information shortly and need some business assistance. Oh, because they're making plans. So this is after the verdict and they're trying to figure out, okay, who can pay this? Because they're trying to go allegedly to Vietnam, and there's not clear evidence that they're trying to come back. It seems like they're getting their affairs in order. And for anybody that does know or love somebody that struggles with depression, if they all of a sudden start getting their affairs in order, that is a red flag. You need to get assistance and help to them immediately. There is a free crisis number 988 in the United States. But the fact they were going to Vietnam and then to maybe not come back, like but that's where Donna just, once again, that domestic coordinator, like she's just trying, I don't know, it had to be big. Like, it's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know why they had to go all the way to Vietnam. I don't know. Maybe to tell the boys they were away on a trip. But I don't think she was planning to come back. Me personally, I don't know. Please let us know if you can be of any help. And that's weird. Okay. And then Donna tells Wendy, don't get nervous again. Nothing about the case. Just would like to show you business stuff and personal things. If you can't do it, we must find someone else who can. And that's what Donna tried to do. Oh, it was so much. And then they went, I skipped over some messages. It might have been with one of the other witnesses where Donna was texting friends during Charlie's trial that like, especially after Charlie testified, like, now the truth is out. Now everybody sees there was all of this extortion when there's like, that's not what the evidence shows, Donna. Like, it's just not. And the fact that we can all see it and she just won't, and that's where people once again try to go to the delusion. Like, this must be a delusion, or it could just be lies. And we talked about that with the Nicholas Casotis case, the lying liars that just lie because they don't want to go to jail. I don't know that for sure. I'm just talking. Okay. If you like this type of content, I'm Dr. Barry. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. My goal is to always share information so that we can grow and learn together. People are likely to encounter people that lack boundaries. And something that was really helpful on a previous video is sharing the difference between boundaries, standards, and expectations. And one of my friends, Dr. Raquel Martin, she did something talking about this. So this is from her LinkedIn. It's also on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. She has some YouTube videos that talk about boundaries and expectations. I will link her resources down in the description, but let's take a look at this.
So I told them they can't text me after 10 p.m. unless it's an emergency. That's my boundary. That's not a boundary. That's a rule. Wait, what? A boundary guides your behavior. A rule tries to control someone else's. So a boundary would sound more like, I don't respond to texts after 10 p.m. Fine. Then I told them, I expect people in my life to show up when they say they will. That's my standard. Actually, that sounds like an expectation. Okay, what now? A standard is about what you allow in your life, and expectation is about what you hope others will do. So my standard is that I surround myself with dependable people. My expectation is that this specific person will show up on time? Yes, your standards shape your circle. Your expectations set the stage for disappointment or communication. So how do I actually use this, like in real life? So you start by asking yourself, what am I committed to doing or not doing? That's your boundary. What do I wish others would do? That's your expectation. What do I allow or not allow in my life? That's your standard. And what am I trying to control? That's probably a rule, and it might need adjusting. Okay, so it's not just about saying things louder. It's about saying them clearer. Exactly. Clarity is kindness to others and yourself. Okay, and I'll be sure to use the mental health guide that you created specifically for this.
Once again, I think it's really important to share resources as we're talking about cases like this. I do want to go to the comments of a recent post where I asked for what you all wanted me to definitely cover in this. And somebody mentioned, so Dawn mentioned being very confused about the open mic recording. This is where Donna appears to be making plans to leave the country. This is, she's called Charlie in jail after he's been convicted, and she's staying on the line after Charlie dropped off on this recorded line, and she just continues to talk. And her lawyer is there, but it's my understanding there's also somebody else that's there, and the presence of that other person, because her team has worked very hard to try to keep certain evidence out, and it was allowed in for legal reasons. I'm not a lawyer, ask a lawyer about those questions. But her talking about harming herself and telling Harvey that he'll do the same. And that's once again that lack of boundaries with Donna, that if I can't live with this, I think she sees her and Harvey as one, but in an unhealthy way. It's like, okay, we both can't live like this. We can't. Because remember, as Donna was getting arrested, Harvey asked if he could go with her. And it's like, no, like sir, you're not being arrested. You can go home. And I mentioned this, I think, I don't know if I was talking with Kathy, I was talking with somebody. It was like, Harvey, it's the Miami airport. I'm pretty sure there's a rideshare area. And so my mom struggles sometimes with using Uber or something, but like she knows how to use a taxi. Like if she was at the Miami airport and had to get home, if she lived in Miami, she could make that happen. And the way that Harvey gets infantilized and almost like he can't live without her. And I think that's what Donna would want. And I do think that Donna, because once again, domestic coordinator, she's the one making sure, but like also not sure it's all completely legal. So it's a lot. The other part of the question for that call was complaining that Wendy won't return her calls. So that's where, to me, Donna was crashing out. Like Donna was just like all over the place. And that's like when she gets overwhelmed, she just floods the emotions. It's not just like it's like all the emotions all at once, but not really. Like it's kind of like self-serving and like, feel sorry for me, help me. But like she's saying she's upset, but she looks upset, but the emotion just seems really shallow. Because even in the police car, or like when she's like appearing to maybe have a panic attack, but it doesn't. I've seen people have panic attacks, and their emotion, everything looks fearful. Like Donna looked mad. Like why are y'all doing this to me? Like that was the gist of it. And understandably, like nobody wants to get arrested, especially since I think she would have turned herself in, but they were worried about her running before she could, or doing something to herself before she could. And so somebody mentioned that that's just not what they would expect the day of Charlie's conviction. But I think I think she knew she was next. And so I think her reaction was very self-serving, my personal thoughts, that it was save me. Now, like, I need to protect myself. Like, okay, Charlie, okay, he's been convicted, but now, like, before I'm arrested, I want to have one last trip. And they intentionally waited until they scanned their tickets on the jet bridge, like until they were like walking to the plane, because any good defense lawyer would say, "Oh, they changed their mind. They were at the airport, fully packed, but they never had any intention of getting on the plane." No, you were walking to the plane. Like, yes, you were trying to flee. All right, come on in. I'm not. Yeah. Here you go. iPad time. All right. Somebody asked me to discuss the weird family dynamics. Please be sure that you check out my other coverage on this case. It's mostly enmeshment. And for this video, I will make sure to share this article that talks about breaking free from overbearing enmeshed relationships. Enmeshed relationships are where boundaries are blurred, leading to overdependence and lack of individuality. And we saw that with Wendy and Charlie. Rob was able to break free from all of that. And really, I think he was ostracized because of it. Healthy boundaries and communication are essential, but often the antagonistic person in the relationship will not like it when you start setting your boundaries. And so you just need some help as you do that. There is a such thing as enmeshment trauma, and parent being over involved in your relationships. It can just there can be a lot. And so I will share this resource down in the description as well. I'm excited to be partnering with Paul from Reporting Live from My Sofa tomorrow, Sunday. So stay tuned. The video will either be live over on his channel once he releases it, or we may be doing a joint stream if we're both going to be live. I'm not sure yet, but just stay tuned to the channel. If it is shared on his channel, I will make sure to share it on the community tab as well. And so hopefully, Tom Meredith, I answered your question about the emotional almost incest with Donna and Charlie. So I try to be careful, especially when we're talking about things that far. And psychology, when you're looking at the Freudian stuff of like, there is a healthy separation that happens between parent and child. And I wonder if Donna would have been able to handle it if Charlie really had like a relationship that was safe and stable and he was like looking to marry somebody else. Because I think Donna was really the top woman. Like I think he talked to her all the time. I think he relied on her in ways that might not have been all that healthy. I don't think she called him out when he was like wrong. I could be wrong, but it just doesn't seem like things were just kind of brushed under the rug, or he didn't care. I did go back and watch. Ooh, if you want to go down a rabbit hole, go back and watch Jeff Lacosse's interviews with the police, his police interviews. He talked about odd family dynamics. He kind of called Charlie a sociopath and talked about his like tourism things he would do when he traveled out of the country, which was if any of that was true. And that Wendy was coming off her Lexapro, but I don't know if that because Jeff specialized in like understanding the psychological impacts of medication or something. Like it sounds like one of his specialties was around medication, because he was even saying as somebody comes off their medication, they might become more impulsive, but was that true, or were we working on alternate theories? I don't know. So I don't know. I don't know if but he spilled all the tea. And now when I go back and I watch Gossip Rumor and Innuendo, when I go back and watch Kathy's video and she's talking about the law retreat trips and mentioning certain people's names, because Jeff had researched people online, and I think he was trying to be helpful. At times it almost comes across too helpful, but I think social workers and therapists, psychologists, we tend to be nosy people. And if somebody in my life did a crime, I could imagine that I would be like trying to, I don't know. And if I had information about it, but I'm not going to interfere with anything. And if I know anything, I'm definitely going to talk about it. And I think his natural style is just very, very talkative. And I haven't heard many people mention it, but it was mentioned, I think somebody mentioned it, that Jeff kind of looks like Dan Markel. Like Wendy might have a type, but I don't know about the other, because sounds like there were some other, according to Jeff. And I don't know that all of what Jeff said was accurate, but it was a lot. Jeff also talked about Wendy crying a lot, and that, and Jeff called Wendy a good liar, and that she lies to navigate the world, and that she can't keep her story straight. And I think there was a lot in Jeff's interview, but it was confusing at times. And Jeff also called Charlie a con man, and that Jeff's therapist, and Jeff should listen to his therapist, told him that Wendy sounded like she had some concerns. And Jeff was definitely completely in love with Wendy. I don't think Wendy was all that in love with him. I also went back and watched the 2020 special. I hadn't seen it yet. And they played excerpts of Wendy's podcast that she recorded for a class after the murder, where she was talking about just how she was never passionately in love and she thought it would be enough and it wasn't, and just how she felt like she was less than. But I wonder how much of her relational issues from her family of origin, because I think there was this sore spot for not feeling good enough, for not feeling smart enough, because Donna kind of talked down to Wendy, and so the smallest thing that Dan did could possibly trigger a sore spot, a really big reaction. I'm not saying that's what happened, but that's what, and listening to Jeff's interview and watching the 2020 documentary, those are the types of things that came up in my mind. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me scroll through some of these questions just to make sure that I got to all of them. For the next few weeks, I am going to be doing more recorded videos and posting them. I get way too distracted by the live chat. And also, I am doing an EMDR training, eye movement desensitization reprocessing. This training has, I have to read 2 books. I have to practice I have a bunch on my plate right now. This is also the beginning of the school year. And so with psych testing and therapy clients, I have a lot. And so just to manage everything, I'm going to pre-record videos and make them available. I will make them available to members just a little bit earlier if I'm able to finish editing in time. But I so appreciate this community. I appreciate each and every one of you. Oh my gosh, like this has been a phenomenal journey. Let me know if y'all have questions about the trial. I am interested to see the defense starting next week and if Donna is going to take the stand. Mm, I'm not sure because she's not controlling her face and her reactions, just listening to evidence. I saw Court TV. I didn't finish the video, but the Court TV has a video about like Donna appearing to like shake as she listened to the recording. There were also times recovery addict, noticed that my headphones don't flip. Her headphones, this part where you hear was flipped on the outside, where like, so the sound comes through here, but she had them flipped around because the judge kept telling her to put her headphones back on. Ma'am, put your headphones back. Like he just kept telling her to put her headphones back on. And Donna just doesn't seem to like rules and does not like to be told what to do. Seems to like to tell other people what to do. Her lawyers keep checking in, understandably, like checking in to make sure that they're asking the questions that she wants asked. I don't know that they're always good questions, but okay, it is what it is. And looking back at the questions you all asked, Emmy asked, can you discuss her attempts to make friends in jail to help her cause? I think we talked about that one. Does she really care for them as friends or does she see them as beneath her and is using them? I think you know the answer to that one. And that's why I mentioned love bombing. I think Donna is very, in my personal thoughts, based on everything I've heard, is calculating and was trying to find people that she probably thought would do what she wanted them to do. I think it's interesting that she didn't give the African American woman the script. She gave Drina the script. And but like I think Drina was her like jailhouse daughter. She was probably closer with Drina. And then Drina also was probably like talking, and because Donna's out here giving away free snacks. And I stay out of jail. I do not, but like when I was in school, I always knew who had gum. If any former friends, okay, I loved me some gum. I always knew who had candy. So I get it. If people were maybe being nice to Donna because Donna was out here giving out snacks, but don't do crimes for Donna. Don't do that. Don't do crimes for anybody, but especially not Donna. Those are just my own personal thoughts. Somebody commented, it's coffee, commented, lots of people think Wendy's involved. Maybe, but all speculation. I agree. Personally, I absolutely think Donna would do it and expect Wendy to be grateful. I think there's a text message that reflects that. In Donna's mind, why wouldn't she be like grateful? Like, love to hear more about how it could have been done within the family without Wendy. So I think Wendy could have been complaining about like, oh, this is so difficult. Oh, I hate Tallahassee. So Wendy was kind of working both sides. It's my understanding. Wendy was telling some people that like, I love Tallahassee. Like, I'm just gonna like, it's fine. Like there's an email that Wendy's like, things are gonna be fine. And then there's these other emails that are like, talking very negatively about Tallahassee. And when you talk to Donna, if you disagree with her, it's going to be so. I think Donna was already kind of against Dan. And then Wendy says she doesn't like confrontation. And Jeff described Wendy as being kind of emotionally closer to 12 or 13. I don't know if that's true. And that at times Wendy could be like reactive. So if something didn't go her way, that she could kind of fall apart over very small things. That's what Jeff said. So, and I think Donna did not want her children to be upset at all. So it's important that all children learn how to manage their emotions. So if my son is upset in the middle of this, he came in to get the iPad. If for some reason the iPad wasn't charged and he had to be disappointed, I'm not going to like stop streaming to like, I don't know, like he would just have to be disappointed for a little bit until I finished and then I would help him with it. Or he would ask his father. Remember 2 parents in the house, he normally comes to mom. It's just the thing my kid does. And so, but my kid, he is going to be disappointed. It's not my job to make sure that my kid is happy all the time. Sometimes like that's not good parenting. Like if my kid is not doing what he's supposed to do, it's my job as a parent to help encourage him to figure out if something's going on, if he's struggling academically. Like it's my job to surround him with supports, but he has to do the work, and there are consequences for not doing things a certain way. We talked about grades. I forget if I mentioned it on here on my channel, but my son started 3rd grade this year, and this is the first year where they get letter grades: A, B, C, D, and F. And for me, I was willing to give him, I think it was $5 for A's, $2 for B's, and $1 for C. And my aerospace engineer husband was like, C's are average. We don't give money for C's. Like, okay. Okay, so $0 for C's. And then so we added $3 for B plus. And so that's just a little thing that we're doing to encourage him. If he does his best and he gets a C, it'll be like, it's okay, it is. Now if he gets, because my son was like, well, I might get 3rd grade, has never gotten he's gotten like 1 S minus, and I don't know. Like he doesn't, not an S minus on the report card, like a S minus on a like an assignment. Because I emailed the PE teacher one time. He never got back to me. It was the end of the school year. It is what it is. But I was like, why did my kid get an S minus? Like I had questions. But my kid was like, hey, if I get a D, I might just get a D on something. And I was like, no, sir. If you're getting D's, then you need more time to study. So you're not going to be able to play as many video games. Like, I want to help you. Don't have a mom that's a child and adolescent psychologist. Like, no, like, okay, so if that happens, and for your report card grade is a D, like we're gonna have to figure out, like, that's gonna, there would be some consequences. And he's just, and it was hilarious because my son is my child, because he's like, wait, so what's the least I can do to like not get in trouble? These are not acceptable. Okay. And so far he has A's. It is what it is. People are funny. But those are some of my thoughts on Wendy. There is a chance that and that's where I think the state is waiting. So I wonder what the state has. Because why was Wendy asking Jeff about when he was going out of town? Why did Wendy tell Rob to not tell her parents about Jeff? Like, that's where I just wonder. But then she also purportedly like regurgitated at the celebration dinner, according to Jeff, with Charlie. And so I don't know. This is a hard one. It's really hard. All right. Let's see if there are any other questions. Someone mentioned it. What intrigues me is a pattern, which seems to be like Donna insists on digging herself into a deeper hole. She just does. It's really bad. First, she suggests baptizing the grandkids and dressing them up in somebody tried to explain it as like Hitler. I don't know. But to me, the uniforms, it would be bad to upset Dan. In my opinion, this just like it just shows how unfit she is. Oh wow. And that she did merit unsupervised visits. So this is a comment by Hannah Jenna. I'm not good, but it's a public comment on my post asking for questions. Then of course there's the conspiracy to murder Dan after Wendy's petition to move to South Florida was denied with prejudice. Once she's incarcerated, Donna tries to create this false narrative about Katie. Then there's all her performative behavior while being transported to jail. It's like she's from another planet. Also, do you find that her daughter's testimony shows she used to individuate. Maybe, and that question might be about, is Wendy starting to find herself? I hope in general that, because it's always my goal, because Wendy is her children's parent, and so I hope that her children are in therapy. I hope, because this is a lot. Their grandmother, who the kids probably remember and love, their uncle was convicted of being a part of the conspiracy to kill their father. And they're old enough now where they may be starting to understand some of these things, where when they were younger, at like 6, 7, 8, I've worked with kids that their parent died in a violent way, and the children didn't fully understand that when they were younger. As they start to get older, they start to get more information as it's age and developmentally appropriate. And so I do hope that Wendy's learning to set boundaries. Kay Taylor Minor asked, what are the thoughts on the snitches, the people that told on Donna? There are a couple of times that they were getting some serious stares from Donna. She probably saw that as a betrayal. Remember, like, even when Wendy was like just not responding, like, because Wendy didn't call her, despite Wendy said, hey, call me. Like, that's what Wendy said to call her, but why she, so this is part of the question, why she didn't learn to keep her mouth shut after the open mic call is beyond me. So Donna and Charlie both flunked out of what Kathy from Gossip Room or Innuendo would call shut up school. Neither one of them learned. Also, like Jeff doesn't like, but not in a bad. So Jeff just likes to talk in general, but like, and then, but Donna and Charlie, ooh, because Charlie is on the call knowing that the police are probably listening, being like the pigs. Like, he's sitting here thinking he's clever and creative, and it's not. It's not good at all. And they just, and I do think that they never thought that it would come back to them. I think they thought, Donna and Charlie specifically thought, okay, there's a Latin king, there's these Hispanic people involved. They're never going to, because Charlie said a white periodontist. So I think Charlie was hoping that his professional career, that people would be like, oh, a doctor could never, despite the fact people that follow true crime, there unfortunately are professionals that make poor decisions. Because a case came to my mind, because there have been, because I saw of one, it was a chiropractor that like poisoned his wife with lead, like, and but they knew that there were some new machines being installed, and like they were able to point it all back to him. He was convicted. It was so bad. I saw this over on Law and Crime. They did a special episode on it. And that the judge, because during closing arguments the defendant was snickering and like making, like, I don't know, the judge didn't like it. So the judge during sentencing, he was like, hey, if I'm not a judge anymore, when you come up for parole, I'm coming to like say why you should never be in society again. Those weren't the exact words, but that was the gist of it. I so appreciate all of your questions and appreciate you all for watching. Once again, if you like this content, if you like the video, subscribe. It just helps the channel out. I will see you all next time, and I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.